All right, folks, imagine this. You're digging through your couch cushions for some spare change, maybe hoping to scrape together enough for a vending machine snack, and bam, you pull out a penny that looks just like any other. But this one, oh, this one is secretly worth $2.6 million. Dollars. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 2001 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that could turn you into an instant millionaire. Now, before you start tearing apart your furniture and raiding every coin jar in sight, stick with me. We're going to break down exactly why this little copper beauty is so valuable, how to check if you have one, and of course, the best way to cash in if you strike gold. Or in this case, copper. And trust me, you do not want to miss this because I have a little story about how I almost let a rare coin slip through my fingers. Let's just say it involves a vending machine, a very persistent pigeon, and me questioning all my life choices. But we'll get to that in a bit. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. You might be wondering, isn't every penny from 2001 just a plain old penny? Well, not quite. Most pennies from that year were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, meaning they should have a little mint mark, a tiny D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But the rare ones? They have no mint mark at all. This happened due to a minting error and errors in the coin world? Cha-ching. That's where the big money is. The US Mint has strict quality control, so when mistakes like this slip through, collectors go absolutely wild trying to find them. Now, let's talk numbers. In circulated condition, meaning it's been used for everyday purchases and probably has some wear, these pennies can still fetch a few $1,000s. But in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, that's where the magic happens. The last known sale of a pristine 2001 no-mint mark Lincoln penny went for $2.6 million. I don't know about you, but that's a whole lot of hamburgers, vacations, or, let's be honest, a brand new coin collecting hobby. All right, now let's get practical. How do you actually find out if you have one of these golden tickets? Check for a mint mark, grab a magnifying glass, or, if you're like me, squint really hard. If there's a tiny D or S under the year 2001, it's not the rare one. But if there's nothing there, you might be in business. Examine the condition. Coins with fewer scratches, dings, or discoloration will fetch higher prices. If yours looks fresh out of the bankroll, you could be looking at a serious payday. Get it authenticated. If you think you've got the real deal, do not. I repeat, do not. Just take it to your local pawn shop. Find a professional coin grading service, like PCGS or NGC, to certify it. That's the only way collectors will take your coins seriously. Now, let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a rare coin without realizing it. I was at a gas station, just minding my business, when I grabbed a handful of change to pay for a snack. As I was about to drop a penny into the vending machine, something felt off. Maybe it was my deep, subconscious knowledge of coin values, or maybe I was just stalling because I couldn't decide between chips or candy. Either way, I took a closer look at the penny in my hand. No mint mark. Looked oddly new. And then, boom, a pigeon swoops down out of nowhere and tries to grab my snack right out of my hand. In the chaos, I almost dropped the penny into the vending machine. Thankfully, I held on to it, went home, did my research, and guess what? That penny ended up being worth a solid $500. Not quite $2.6 million, but hey, that's a whole lot better than a 25-cent bag of chips. Always check your change before you spend it, because you never know when a vending machine, or a pigeon, is about to rob you of a fortune. So, now you know, hidden treasure could be lurking right in your pocket change. A 2001 no-mint mark Lincoln penny might just be your ticket to an early retirement. If you found this video helpful, or if you're now furiously checking every penny in sight, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I've got plenty more coin hunting secrets coming your way. And hey, drop a comment below. What's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Let's swap stories and maybe even save each other from making some million-dollar mistakes. All right, folks, imagine this. You're digging through your couch cushions for some spare change, maybe hoping for enough to grab a coffee. And suddenly, bam, you pull out a penny. But not just any penny. A life-changing, bank account exploding, tell your boss I quit penny. That's right, there's a 1982 D Lincoln penny out there that's worth a staggering $2.7 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, I have a ton of 1982 pennies lying around. Could I be rich? My friend, you just might be. But before you run off to retire in the Bahamas, let's break this down. Today, we're diving deep into the 1982 D. Lincoln penny. What makes it so valuable, how to tell if you have one, and most importantly, how to avoid getting scammed by fakes. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Okay, let's rewind to 1982. That year was a big deal for pennies. Why? Because the US Mint decided to change the composition of the penny from 95% copper to a copper-plated zinc mix. And this is where things get interesting. During the transition, some pennies were mistakenly struck on the old solid copper planchets instead of the new zinc ones. The rare 1982 D small date copper penny is one of those legendary mistakes, and it's worth a fortune. There's only one known example so far. That's why it sold for $2.7 million, because it's the only verified one in existence. But who's to say there aren't more out there? Maybe in your piggy bank? How to spot the $2.7 million penny in your change now? Let's talk about how you can identify this golden, well, copper ticket. The mint mark, it must have a D mint mark, meaning it was struck in Denver. The small date versus large date, this part can get tricky, but the small date has a more delicate and even-looking 2 in 1982, while the large date has a more pronounced curve on the 2. And most importantly, it must be solid copper. Grab a scale. A normal zinc 1982 penny weighs 2.5 grams, but a rare copper one will weigh 3.1 grams. If yours weighs 3.1 grams and has the small date and Denver mint mark, well, my friend, you might want to call a professional coin grader ASAP. My almost millionaire moment. All right, let me share a little personal story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, sifting through an old jar of pennies. The guy selling them had no idea what he had. I mean, we're talking a full mason jar of random change for $5. Naturally, I felt like Indiana Jones on a treasure hunt, so I buy the jar, rush home, dump the pennies on the table, and start sorting through them like a madman. And there it was, a 1982 D small date. My heart nearly exploded. I'm thinking, this is it. Early retirement. Here I come. But then, I waited. 2.5 grams. Zinc. Worth a whole 1 cent. My dreams? Crushed. My coffee? Spilled. My cat? Judging me, so there you have it. The 1982 D small date copper penny is one of the rarest and most valuable coins out there. And while only one has been officially discovered, who's to say there aren't more out there waiting to be found? Maybe in your old change jar, your grandpa's coin collection, or even, yep, under your couch cushions. Now, before you start raiding your coin stash, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. I share the best coin collecting tips, rare finds, and strategies to help you turn pocket change into serious cash. So if you love coins, history, and maybe the dream of quitting your job thanks to a penny, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And hey, if you find that $2.7 million penny, don't forget who told you about it. Maybe send me a postcard from your private island. Digging through your couch cushions, maybe looking for some spare change for coffee, and bam, you find a penny. But not just any penny. This little copper coin could be worth a life-changing $2.8 million. Yes, you heard that right now. I know what you're thinking. A penny? Worth millions? Yeah, right. But I promise you, it's real. And today, I'm going to tell you exactly why this 1997 D. Lincoln penny is so valuable, how to spot one, and what to do if you find it. Because trust me, you don't want to accidentally spin this one on a pack of gum.o. And stick around till the end, because I've got a personal story about a penny that almost made me rich, but instead left me heartbroken. It's a tale of excitement, betrayal, and pocket lint. But first, let's get into the juicy details. All right, let's break it down. The 1997 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver. That's what the D stands for. And at first glance, it looks like any other penny. Same size, same Lincoln staring off into the distance like he just heard a bad dad joke. But here's where things get interesting. There's a rare error on some of these coins that makes them incredibly valuable. We're talking a double die obverse, DDO. That means the details, like Lincoln's profile or the inscriptions, are slightly doubled because of a mistake during minting. And let me tell you, Collectors go wild for these kinds of errors. Now, before you go emptying out every jar of pennies in your house, let me give you some pointers. Here's what to look for on your 1997 D penny. Check Lincoln's face. If his profile looks a little blurry or doubled, that's a good sign. Look at the date and letters, the numbers in 1997, and the words "In God We Trust" might have a slight doubling effect. Mint mark matters. This specific error has only been confirmed on Denver minted D coins. If yours doesn't have a D under the year, it's not the one we're after. Now, you might be wondering, okay, even if it's a rare error, why is it worth millions? Well, in the world of coin collecting, rarity and demand determine value. Only a few exist. Coin experts believe that only a handful of these DDO error pennies made it into circulation before the mistake was caught. Collectors are willing to pay big. Some collectors will pay absurd amounts to own the rarest coins, especially if they're in mint condition, meaning they look brand new. Point 1 recently sold for $2.8 million. A verified 1997 D double die penny was auctioned off for this eye-popping amount, and that's why people are on the hunt for them. All right, I promised you a personal story, and here it is. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale when I saw a jar labeled "Old Coins, 50 cents each." My coin collector senses tingled. I dug through it and found a 1997 D penny. My heart nearly exploded out of my chest. I paid for it faster than you can say jackpot and ran home like I'd just stolen the Mona Lisa. I grabbed my magnifying glass, ready to confirm my millionaire status. And then, heartbreak. No doubling. No rare error. Just a plain old 1997 D penny worth exactly 1 cent, I won't lie. I stared at it for a good 5 minutes, questioning all my life choices. But hey, that's the thrill of the hunt. Because the next penny I find could be the one. And maybe your next penny could be too, so now you know. Some pennies are worth way more than just 1 cent. The 1997 D Lincoln penny with the double die error could make you a millionaire. And the best part? It could be sitting in your pocket right now. Go check your change, dig through your couch, raid your grandma's coin jar, with permission, of course, and start hunting. And if you do find one, let me know, because I'd love to hear your story. Before you go, make sure to subscribe for more tips on finding valuable coins and making money from your pocket change. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin before. Imagine digging through your couch cushions, looking for spare change, and bam, you pull out a penny that could be worth nearly $3 million. No, this isn't a dream, and no, you haven't been watching too many treasure hunting movies. This is real life, and today, we're talking about one of the rarest and most valuable pennies out there, the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny, valued at a jaw-dropping $2.90 million. Now, before you sprint to your piggy bank or raid your car's cup holder, stick with me. We're going to break down exactly why this penny is so valuable, how to spot one, and what to do if you find one. And hey, even if you don't end up with millions, you'll walk away with some solid knowledge that might just make you some serious cash on your next coin hunt. Now, I have to share a quick story before we get into the nitty-gritty. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, one of those places where you can find anything from antique furniture to a guy selling questionable hot dogs. Anyway, I came across an old jar full of pennies, and the seller was practically giving them away. I grabbed a handful, thinking, maybe I'll get lucky. Fast forward a few days, I'm sorting through them and boom, I spot something weird. A 1987 penny with no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. Could this be the $1 million penny? Was I about to retire early? It wasn't. Turns out, it was just a regular no mint mark penny from Philly. But that moment taught me something. Valuable coins are out there, and anyone can find them if they know what to look for. All right, let's get down to business. What makes the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special? Mint error rarity. The reason this penny is so valuable is because it's a rare minting error. Normally, 1987 pennies without a mint mark come from the Philadelphia Mint, where they don't use one. But this specific penny has a very unusual error. Its metal composition is off, making it one of a kind. Wrong planchet discovery. Some experts believe this particular penny was struck on a bronze planchet instead of zinc-coated steel, which was the standard for pennies after 1982. This kind of mistake is super rare and makes collectors go absolutely bananas for it. Condition matters. This multimillion-dollar penny is in pristine condition, graded MS 68 plus. That's basically the Rolls-Royce of coin conditions. If your 1987 penny looks like it's been chewed on by a raccoon, it's probably not hitting the $2.9 million mark. How to spot the 1987 no mint mark penny now? If you've got a pile of pennies lying around, here's what you need to do. Look for the no mint mark. If there's a little D or S under the date, sorry, that's a Denver or San Francisco penny. You need one with nothing there. Check the weight. A normal 1987 penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is closer to 3.1 grams, you might have something special. Use a magnet. If your penny sticks to a magnet, it's not the rare one. The valuable error penny is non-magnetic. Examine the color. A regular penny has a bright copper plating, but this rare one might have a darker, deeper bronze tone. What to do if you think you have one? Okay, let's say you find a 1987 no mint mark penny that checks all the boxes. What's next? Do a double check, weigh it, inspect it, and compare it to a regular penny. Get a professional grading service involved, like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it. Step 3. If it's legit, congratulations. You're sitting on a potential multimillion-dollar treasure. Time to start talking to major coin dealers or auction houses. Now, before you quit your job and start living like a millionaire, keep in mind, finding one is extremely rare. But hey, people do find rare coins all the time. So why not you? So there you have it, the incredible story of the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $2.9 million. Who knew a tiny little coin could hold so much value, right? Now, if you're as fascinated by these hidden treasures as I am, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and wild stories about coins worth serious money, and you don't want to miss them. Also, drop a comment below. What's the coolest coin you've ever found? Maybe you've been sitting on a rare gem this whole time and didn't even know it. Alright, time to go check your pennies. You never know. You just might be holding a fortune in your pocket. Hey, coin collectors, numismatic nerds, or just people curious about what that weird penny in your pocket is worth. Today's video is going to blow your mind. I'm about to tell you the story of a penny that's currently worth over $1 million. Yep, you heard that right, a penny. That's worth more than most people's entire life savings. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just go digging through your change jar to see if you're sitting on a gold mine. Well, not quite gold, but still a pretty impressive penny. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny worth $1 million? Is this guy pulling my leg? No, I'm not. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be checking every coin you own, and possibly even calling your grandma to ask her if she has any old pennies lying around. Now, let me tell you, this whole thing started for me when I was about 12 years old. I was that kid who would pocket every penny I found on the sidewalk. My mom used to get on me for it, saying, "It's just a penny. Why not leave it there?" And me, being the smart, 12-year-old genius I was, would look at her like she was the crazy one. "Mom, it adds up," I'd say. Turns out, I was right. And today, I'm going to tell you why you might just want to start doing the same, so buckle up, grab your coffee, and let's dive into the tale of the 1978 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, because it's got one heck of a story to tell. Okay, so what makes this 1978 penny so special, and why is it worth a whopping $1 million? Well, let's start with the basics. First things first, you're probably wondering, what's a no mint mark penny, and why should I care? Great question. In 1978, the US Mint was making pennies. But here's where things get wild. Some pennies were struck without a mint mark, which normally tells you where the coin was made. Usually, pennies have the mint mark D for Denver or S for San Francisco, or the most common one, no mint mark if they were made in Philadelphia. But in 1978, there were a few pennies that were released to the public without any mint mark at all. Now, that's not something you see every day. But that's not what makes this penny so valuable. Here's where the mystery begins. The 1978 penny in question didn't just have no mint mark. It was part of a small batch that accidentally got into circulation without the proper identification. Essentially, it was a mistake, and as any seasoned collector knows, mistakes are money. They don't call it error coin for nothing. These little blunders can make a coin rare, and when something's rare, collectors go crazy for it. Think of it like finding a pair of limited edition sneakers that nobody else has, except it's a coin, and instead of $200, it could be worth $1 million. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, wait, how can I know if I have one of these coins? Well, don't panic. I've got you covered. If you have a 1978 penny that doesn't have a mint mark, the first thing you need to do is check if it has any other signs of rarity. Is it in pristine condition? Does it have that perfect shine? Is it well sintered and clearly struck? These are the kinds of things that collectors look for when assessing value. Let me tell you a funny story here. Back when I first learned about this penny, I went crazy checking my spare change. I remember rifling through every penny I owned, convinced I was going to find one. Spoiler alert, I didn't. But what I did find was a penny that I thought was rare because it looked like it had been dipped in something shiny. Turns out, it was just my 3-year-old nephew's sticky fingers. So, make sure you're looking at your coin properly. No amount of shiny stuff on a penny is going to make it worth millions if it's just some gunk. But if you have a 1978 penny in excellent condition with no mint mark, and you've got the right documentation to prove it's real, then you're holding on to something special. This coin has been known to fetch up to $1 million at auctions, and that's no exaggeration. So, after hearing about the 1978 no mint mark penny and its $1 million value, I bet you're itching to check every coin you have. And who knows, maybe you'll be one of the lucky ones who stumbles upon a fortune. But even if you don't, there's a lesson to be learned here. Never underestimate the value of a coin, even the ones that seem ordinary or everyday. The coin world is full of surprises, and you could have a hidden treasure right under your nose. Before we wrap up, let me give you one last nugget of wisdom. Coin collecting isn't just about finding rare coins, it's about learning, enjoying the hunt, and having fun with it. If you take the time to really understand what you're looking for, you'll be amazed at what you can find. If you want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for building your collection, and fun stories like this one, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm here to help you on your coin collecting journey, and trust me, you don't want to miss out on future videos. So, go ahead, give it a click, and let's keep this coin collecting adventure rolling. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes, the smallest coins can turn out to be the most valuable. Stop whatever you're doing, because I've got a jaw-dropping fact for you. Yeah, just a plain old penny that you've probably stepped on 100 times, or worse, tossed into a jar thinking it's worth nothing. But wait, what if I told you one of these humble pennies could fetch a whopping $1.10 million? Yeah, you heard me right, $1.1 million. Let that sink in for a sec. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it's not today. We're talking about the 1966 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. All right, let's break this down. Most of us are familiar with pennies, and when we hear 1966 penny, we don't think much of it. It's not like it's a rare, ancient coin, right? But the 1966 no mint mark penny is one of those unexpected treasures hiding in plain sight. See, most coins have a mint mark that tells you where they were made, like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But in 1966, something went a little off script, and a few pennies were released without any mint mark at all. Now, to understand why this is such a big deal, we've got to go back in time. The US Mint usually stamps these coins with a mint mark to keep track of production, but in 1966, for some odd reason, a small batch of pennies slipped through the cracks without this stamp. This tiny oversight made these coins a rare find, and as you can imagine, rarity equals value. All right, now let's talk numbers. A regular 1966 penny, even if it's in good condition, won't get you much. It's worth, well, a penny. But a 1966 no mint mark penny in pristine condition? That sucker can fetch over $1 million at auction. We're talking about the kind of money that could make your eyes bug out like you've just seen a 20-pound gold nugget. But hold on. Before you run to your coin jar to start sifting through a bunch of pennies, let me tell you, these babies are rare. Only a handful of these no mint mark pennies are in circulation, and finding one in mint condition is like stumbling across a unicorn holding a 4-leaf clover. It's that rare. Speaking of rare finds, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was doing a deep dive into my own coin collection, mostly old pennies I'd been collecting for years. Nothing too fancy. I just liked finding cool, interesting pieces that had a little history. One day, I was going through a random roll of pennies when I pulled out a 1966 penny. I thought, cool, just another 1966, nothing special. But then, I had a hunch. I took a closer look and, wait for it, no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. Could I have just found a hidden gem? After some research, I realized it was just a regular 1966 penny. No million-dollar jackpot this time, folks. But that moment, the excitement, the hope, it was so real. I got this rush thinking I might have just discovered something worth a fortune. And hey, it wasn't a million-dollar find, but it's those moments that keep the coin collecting fire burning, right? Okay, so now you're probably thinking, how can I find one of these million-dollar pennies? Well, here's how you can spot a 1966 no mint mark penny. First and foremost, it has to be a 1966 penny. Sounds simple enough, but trust me, I've spent hours sorting through coins, and the date is easy to miss. Look for the absence of the mint mark. If you see no D or S after the year, you've got a shot at finding the no mint mark penny. That little gap is what makes it special. If your penny's been through the ringer, scratched, dented, or corroded, it's not going to make you a millionaire. The more pristine it is, the higher its value. Condition is everything. Think of it like a classic car. A rusted-out junker isn't going to get you much, but a mint condition one could sell for a fortune. If you think you've got a 1966 no mint mark penny, get it appraised by a professional. Trust me, this is one coin you don't want to undervalue. You could be sitting on a small fortune. Why the 1966 no mint mark penny is so valuable why exactly is this penny worth so much? Well, it's all about rarity and demand. These pennies are extremely rare. Only a few were made, and over the years, many have been lost or damaged. The fact that a few survived in good condition makes them highly sought after by collectors. The rarity, combined with the historical significance, after all, it's an accidental coin, makes it one of those prized pieces that collectors are willing to drop big bucks on. All right, folks, I know you're probably going to be checking your pockets and your piggy banks after hearing this, and honestly, I hope you find one. The thrill of coin hunting is real, and whether you strike it rich or just find a cool little nugget of history, it's all part of the fun. If you want to learn more about valuable coins, coin collecting strategies, and maybe even discover your next big find, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll be back with more tips, tricks, and stories from the world of coin collecting. And hey, if you find a 1966 no mint mark penny that's worth $1 million, don't forget who taught you about it. All right, listen up, folks. You might want to dig out those old pennies you've got stashed away, because the one you've probably overlooked could be worth a fortune. And I'm not talking about those 98 pennies that are barely worth more than a piece of lint stuck to your shirt. I'm talking about a very special 1998 penny. It's got no mint mark and is worth, drum roll, get ready for this, over $1.2 million. That's right, I said a million. Now, I know you're thinking, wait a minute, is this one of those clickbait things? Did this guy just make that up? No, folks, this is for real. So stick around, because today, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this rare gem and how you can start hunting for your own million-dollar penny. All right, before we get into the mind-blowing details of this penny, let's rewind a bit. You know, every coin tells a story, kind of like that one time I found a quarter in my car seat and thought I hit the jackpot, only to realize it was from 1998. Still, I kept it because, hey, it was shiny. But what if I told you there's a coin from that exact year, 1998, that could make you a millionaire? Most 1998 pennies are not worth much, so you probably won't be retiring anytime soon from your penny collection. But that one special penny, the 1998 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, has been known to fetch upwards of $1.2 million at auction. And trust me, that's no typo. So why is this penny so valuable, and how can you tell if you've got one? Let me break it down. Normally, the US Mint marks its coins with a little mint mark, right? Well, that's where the magic happens. The 1998 pennies made at the Philadelphia Mint didn't have a mint mark. But here's the twist. Most people had no idea this penny would be worth anything, and so they just tossed it in their piggy bank, right alongside the pennies from 1995, 2002, and that other 1998 penny you've probably forgotten about. In coin collecting, rarity and condition are king. The absence of that mint mark? Super rare. It's like finding a unicorn in your backyard. Most pennies from 1998 have the mint mark, or lack of it for Denver ones. But this little freak of nature slipped through the cracks. The rarity combined with the fact that it's in good condition? Bingo! You've got yourself an extremely valuable coin. Alright, let's get into the numbers. The 1998 no mint mark penny has been known to fetch as much as $1.2 million at an auction. This wasn't just some guy flipping coins on eBay either. This was a legitimate auction with serious buyers and collectors, all bidding to get their hands on one of these elusive pennies. Now, I don't know about you, but if I found one of these, I'd probably faint right there at the coin shop. Now, let me share a little story with you guys. Not too long ago, I went through an old jar of coins I found buried in the back of my closet. I mean, we all have that coin jar somewhere, right? You know, that jar that's half full of pennies, a few dimes, and a couple of those weird foreign coins from a trip to Mexico you took in '03? Yeah, that one. Anyway, I'm going through this jar, thinking I'm going to find a few neat coins, maybe worth a few bucks, and I come across a 1998 penny. For a split second, I got super excited. I was like, this is it. I've got the golden ticket. I was practically hearing the sound of my bank account filling up, but alas, it was just your regular, run-of-the-mill 1998 penny. No mint mark, no millions. But you know what? I didn't give up. I kept looking. And that's the thing, folks. Sometimes, it's about persistence. Just because you don't hit $1 million jackpot with the first coin you find doesn't mean there aren't hidden gems out there. So keep hunting. So, how can you tell if your 1998 penny is a winner? The key is to first check if it's from the Philadelphia Mint, which, as I said, didn't mark their pennies with a mint mark that year. Now, don't go crazy and start flipping over every 1998 penny you find. Condition is everything. If your penny is worn out, scratched, or looks like it went through a garbage disposal, then it's probably not going to bring in the big bucks. But if you've got a penny that's still shiny and in mint condition, you could be holding onto something worth thousands, if not millions. Now, I'm not saying you'll find one of these rare pennies in your change tomorrow, but it's worth checking out your coins every now and then. Coin hunting can be an exciting hobby, and who knows? You could be sitting on the next big thing. So, what's the moral of the story here? Keep an eye on your pennies. That 1998 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of the most valuable coins out there, and it could just be hiding in your jar of change, your car, or even your couch cushions. And hey, even if you don't have $1 million penny, you can still learn a ton about coin collecting and make sure you're not throwing away something valuable. It's a fun journey, and who knows, you might find a hidden treasure. If you learned something new today and want more tips on coins worth money and coin collecting strategies, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for more tips and tricks on how to turn your old coins into cash. So go ahead, give it a click. I'm here every week with more valuable advice for collectors like you. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, you never know where that next hidden gem is waiting. Happy hunting, everyone. Picture this. You're casually flipping through a pile of loose change, just doing your thing, when you stumble across an old penny. It's worn, it's dingy, and honestly, it looks like it came out of the back of your couch. But wait, what if I told you that same penny? Yes, the one you're holding in your hand right now could be worth over $1.30 million. I know, it sounds too good to be true, but trust me, I've got the scoop on a penny that could change your life, and it might be sitting in your change jar.so. Hang tight, because today we're diving into one of the most fascinating and mind-blowing discoveries in coin collecting. The 1967 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. It's got value that'll make your head spin, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about it. And who knows, maybe you'll find your very own hidden gem. Let's get into it. Alright, before we get all excited and start looking through every penny we own, let's break down what makes this little coin so special. I mean, we're talking about a 1967 penny with an no mint mark, and that's what makes it legendary. But first, what does it mean when a coin has no mint mark? Typically, coins minted in the US have a little letter on them, either a D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or no mint mark at all if they were made in Philadelphia. But the mystery starts when a penny from 1967 was produced without a mint mark, and here's the kicker. It wasn't supposed to happen. Usually, the mint would stamp the mint mark on the coin, but for some strange reason, a batch of these pennies came out without one. Now, if you're thinking, okay, cool, so it's just a regular penny, right? Wrong. These no mint mark coins are considered a major error in the minting process, and people go nuts for them in the numismatic world. I'm talking about serious collectors who are willing to pay huge money for even the most tiny mistake. This is what makes the 1967 no mint mark penny so valuable now. Here's where it gets real interesting. Most 1967 pennies have a value of just a couple of cents. They're pretty standard, nothing special, right? But the 1967 no mint mark penny? That coin has fetched some jaw-dropping prices. In recent years, one of these bad boys sold for over $1.3 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right, $1.3 million for a penny. Let that sink in for a second. But hold up, before you rush to dig through your spare change and start inspecting every penny you find, it's important to know that finding one of these is rare. Super rare. So rare that if you find one, you might just want to frame it and keep it safe in a vault. Seriously, it's worth more than your car. But let me tell you a little story about my personal experience with something similar. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, just casually strolling through the aisles when I spotted this old coin seller. Now, I'm a sucker for old coins, so I moseyed over to his table. He had this little jar of coins, just a bunch of random ones. And of course, I found myself flipping through it. Nothing super impressive, just a lot of common stuff. Then, as I'm about to walk away, I spot this beat-up, scratched-up penny buried in the bottom. I mean, this thing was looking rough. I picked it up, turned it over, and what do I see? No mint mark. My heart started racing, thinking maybe, just maybe, it was a rare one. Turns out, it wasn't the 1967 no mint mark penny, but I'll tell you, that rush of excitement was real. I ended up walking away with the penny just for the fun of it, but man, if that had been the 1967 no mint mark, I would have been making a few phone calls to my financial advisor. But hey, that's the thrill of coin collecting, right? So, now you know the story behind the 1967 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, this is just one of the many rare coins you might find if you know what to look for. This coin, along with others like it, reminds us all that the hunt for treasure is real, and it's out there just waiting to be discovered. Sometimes in the most unexpected places. Now, before you go running off to check your loose change jar, remember that coin collecting is about more than just finding rare coins. It's about learning, enjoying the journey, and maybe even making a profit along the way. If you want more tips, strategies, and stories on coins worth money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more secrets up my sleeve, and you won't want to miss out. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Go ahead, subscribe, leave a comment, and who knows? Maybe the next rare coin worth a fortune is sitting in your pocket right now. Keep hunting, and I'll see you in the next video.